Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. As always, I am your host, Blake Smith, and with me tonight is the wonderful Mr. Chad Wandell, my partner in the paranormal for this evening. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing better than I deserve, that's for sure, man.
Awesome. Well, we want to give y'all a real quick update of why Shelly is not here. I was told that I was able to say this. Shelly's grandson was born today. So she had to make a flying trip to the hospital to be a part of that. So congrats to all. Mom, dad, baby are all fine and wonderful. And so we felt it was obviously a perfect excuse not to be here tonight.
We'll let it slide this time. But
right. Yeah. Go get them baby snuggles and enjoy that. So instead, we asked Mr. Chad last minute. As always, he comes in to rescue us every now and then. So we
glad to be here.
You. Yes. And also another update. It's just a weird night. So we're just going to go ahead and get this all out of the way right at the get-go. Yes, we did have a guest scheduled tonight. Unfortunately, that guest was unable to make it. So we are pivoting live since it is a live show. We are just going to go on air and we have stuff ready for you as always. So we hope that everything is okay with the guests we were supposed to have. And we will see possibly about maybe working them in the future. So tonight, if you came here for Beth, unfortunately, we're having to pivot, but we have some stuff to discuss because
we're going to get nerdy.
There's some things happening within the paranormal world that I've been wanting to talk to somebody about.
Dude, me too.
What we want to talk about, what we want to start off with is these missing scientists.
Dude.
Centered around this UFO disclosure, content, all that kind of stuff. What are we up to? We're up to 10, 11?
10 or 11 now. I think it's officially 11 now. And it's gone beyond coincidence. Like one, you could say shit happens, right? Coincidence. Yeah. Second one, you start going, that's a little weird. Third one, you're starting to raise the eyebrow. The fourth one, you're starting to question reality. Like something's not right. But now that we've hit 11, and even more so because I can't remember if it's number 10 or number 11, actually made videos to be released if they were to die all of a sudden.
Yes.
Declaring that they are not suicidal, that they are working on a top secret project, and that something has gone too far and that she is no longer willing to go down that pathway. And so if she winds up dead, it was not her, that she was murdered, not suicide. And she was found dead and declared suicide. But now they're re-examining the case because of all the documents that came out upon her death. Like if things don't happen for her to say, I'm still here, they automatically released. And those got released. And now it's really hitting the fan. So now you have to go, no, there's something wrong here. Something's not right.
Yeah. Something's not adding up. And then we have all of this talk right now around a whole nother round of disclosure that's supposed to be happening. Where more images are being released, more documents are being they're taking the redaction out of them and stuff like that. I've seen a couple of photos that are interesting.
Yep.
But to me,
all of the naval pilot videos, those are the ones that are really interesting.
Yeah.
Have you seen those yet?
I have.
No,
I have. Well, I mean, the Tic Tac. Yeah. Of course, I've seen the Tic Tac. I mean, I think everybody that's been out for a while now.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that part, you got to get in the game. It's a rabbit hole worth going down.
But it makes you wonder about like some of these things. But what is it? What is it about this disclosure that has to be so freaking top secret? I think that in my head and in my mind, the first place that I tend to go to is mass hysteria. Obviously, that's going to be where everybody is going to kind of go to, because I mean, what are you saying? These beings descend from the sky. That's where they live out in the universe. We have aliens. Aliens are real. UFOs are real. What kind of panic is that going to cause?
Right. Well, I think we have to look at this. Let's get nerdy. All right.
Okay. Let's get nerdy. Let's do it.
Here comes the geek in me. Let's look at this in a historical context. Take the government out of it.
Okay.
We, the people of all nations across Earth, for as long as humans have been here, have recorded objects in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Every civilization, every tribe, every people's black, brown, white, yellow, green, they've all recorded sky people. That's a fact, right? So if we've been recording this through our entire written history, why does it seem such a shock to us? But that's one question I want to know is like, why, if we've experienced this throughout humans' written history, why are we not wired to just be like, yeah, we kind of knew? Like, why has that just detached from us so hardcore that, oh my God, there's things in the sky when it's been a part of our history for 500,000 years?
I think your issue comes back to the fact that what I was just saying is that there's so much with disclosure that's going to be questioned.
Mm-hmm.
When or if. I'm going to say when or if, because everybody's got a camera in their hand these days. Everybody can record on a whim these days. Things in the skies, things that don't add up. Things, this is why we got into this field.
Right.
More and more paranormal is being caught every single day. But extraterrestrial seems to be, or alien, UFOs, UAPs, seem to be taking kind of the forefront right now, where a lot more of those are being captured.
Yeah, definitely on the fast track here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that what I'm kind of seeing and or sensing is that it's kind of like you have a government that feels like they're trying to play catch up.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to figure out the reason, like, we got to throw this stuff at them to explain this stuff because it's being blasted all over the internet. Yes, we understand there's AI content. Yes, there's faked photos, fake videos. Luckily for me, at least, the UAP, UFO faked videos, I can almost easily tell. Like, I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's real.
And I think you're onto something there. I think a lot of it, because one of the biggest questions that I have in like my list of questions that I kind of like written myself is like, why is the government so suddenly more open about UAPs and UFOs kind of things? Like, why now? Like, why not in the 50s when it was all the rage as well? But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head is there's too many eyes now that can see it in real time and distribute it in real time. So they can't squash, the men in black can't come and control that scenario. It's too big, too fast, right? The neural network of Earth can outpace the men in black, so to speak, right?
Yep.
But I think on the flip side of that, we did it to ourselves too. So I think one of the things that has been a very big disservice to humankind is the fact that we have lit up our world so egregiously that we have lost our connection with the sky. Because if you just go back 150 years, there were no, blinding cities from the space. Like, we weren't polluting our sky with light, and we could see the bands of the Milky Way, the stars. We could see shooting stars. We can see the stars move more, and we were more aware of that. And I think it gave us a better spiritual connection to Earth and the sky. And I think we screwed that up ourselves. So, like when I first, asked like, why do we not still have that connection, that this should be no big deal because it's been a part of our history since we could write. I think that's why we disconnected ourselves for enough generations that our brains lost that wiring. And so I think that's part of the reason why people may be panicked. But I think if you'd have released information like this in the 1700s, people would just been like, well, duh.
Yeah. Well, because if you look at the files that they're releasing and unredacting, I guess you could say, they are the files from basically 47 all the way up until I think like the end of the 60s or something like that. That's the ones that they're unredacting and they're releasing at this point.
Yeah.
Which was when the huge UFO flap was happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Roswell. And that's kind of one of the things that I'm just like, is that son of a bitch going to drop and say, yeah, we actually had one? Like, that to me, that would be the end all be all of, yeah, we did surgery on an alien.
It caught me. Well, I mean, yes, I agree. They like if they came out and they were like, we did surgery on an alien, I'd be like, well, okay, called that, but cool.
But in our fairness, he was already dead.
But my thing is like it caught my ear whenever I was listening to a video on Facebook about these files that they're unredacting. 1947. That is a very important year because that is the year of Kenneth Arnold. with like I think it was 9 flying discs up in shit.
Yep.
I'm going to get the place wrong. Washington.
Yeah, it was Washington. It was on,
Yeah.
I think it was the foothills of Mount Baker. Like they were flying into the mountain.
Yep. And I was like,
Or was it Rainier?
So in my head, I'm like, I think it was Rainier. In my head, I'm like, are we going back to the very beginning and just going to start unredacting these files?
History is just repeating, right?
Right.
Well, you know, the real thing, if you want to really look at the spike that comes in UFO activity, it actually happens in 1945. When we detonated the first atomic bomb, UFO reportings went through the roof.
Yeah.
And specifically over United States. They were getting reported everywhere in just insane numbers. Well, that's where the first detonation occurred. So if you were an alien looking in on us and you went, there it is. That's what we've been waiting to see. They've gone atomic. They've hit that next threshold. To me, as a science guy, that's one of the thresholds is we've now controlled matter and we can split and fuse, right? So that would be a big trigger item. You know, if I'm watching a kid, I'm waiting. Is he going to take us? There's those first steps. Now we can go hold his hand a little bit. And so maybe that's what we're at finally at this precipice of. It's been X number of years because that's how long it takes to really travel those distances to get here. And they're finally coming to hold our hands going, you finally reached infancy.
Well, and it confuses me a bit because I go back to the question of like, why now? And the only answer that I do have for that is that it seems like the government is kind of on the back foot a bit and they're trying to play catch up because of, like you said, we can't stamp it out quick enough. We can't be the MIB that we used to be. But because I know that a lot of times whenever they classify documents for like large things, I'm thinking of things like JFK and Marilyn Monroe, you know, those files, they are to remain classified until 75 years after the date of death or assassination in JFK's attempt. And honestly, that's to make sure that anybody who's associated with it is possibly dead at that point and can't talk whenever they come out with these documents. But that's what throws me with this because, you know, if we're talking 1947, that makes sense why we're starting there because that's getting close.
Yeah, you're right on
you're right on the nose, you know, of about 75-ish years. But it's not quite. I don't know. I see the other part of it as kind of a distraction as well.
Yeah.
Because I do know, and somebody actually made the comment, I think it was Gage at the comment saying that the pastors had been summoned. And I think you and I briefly talked about that in the green room beforehand.
Yeah.
That the group of pastors had been summoned basically saying, hey, be ready, be ready to explain this like to your congregations and stuff.
And it's kind of like what I said, though, is like the Bible does explain this. Like for anybody that's not like truly versed in Christianity and the religion and the Bible actually talks about the heavens, that there's more than one layer of heavens. There's three. You have the sky, which we can see. You have the stars and the things that contain all the stars. So our universe, so to speak. And then there's the outside of our universe, which is heaven itself. And, you know, that's where we get the stereotypical pearly gates and the streets of gold. And, you know, that's where God is. So there's these different domains of that. And in the Bible, Satan is referred to as having dominion over the skies. There's your explanation that while they may look like aliens, these are actually demons. And so they have dominion over the skies. So be aware and be ready for that. So it kicks off. In fact, the arrival of these demons would be very much one of the things that would kick off the revelations. Like here it comes. This is in time. So, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, obviously that's going to be the easiest way for it to be explained away. Because my whole thing is I go to crisis of faith. That's the first thing I go to is why we haven't had just full honest disclosure, because whenever, and I know we've discussed this before on the podcast, but whenever you have a being that does not look like us, and we have been taught we were created in his image. We have discussed what we think that means, both one way or the other on this podcast. Well, is it image as in physically in his image? Is it image as in do good, be good? That is my image, be a good person. A lot of people take it in the literal sense. We were created in his image. Well, if these beings come down and they don't look like us, and what the hell are they?
Right.
And what does that mean for my faith?
Well, and that, to kind of go on that though, there are biblical descriptions in the Bible. You can go look it up of what angels and stuff look like, and they're not described as human. They do not look like human at all. They do not look like us. So we've already been told they will not look like us. Yeah. And so, does that mean God looks like us? I don't know, because we're also told that just to look upon God is unbearable. Like we just can't take it. He's too pure. Like we can't look at him. So there's that kind of thing. And so it's a really interesting, rabbit hole to kind of put it in a religious aspect, because it does deal with it. Most people just don't get past, 4 or 5 verses in their entire lifetime to even know that it talks about it. So that's another problem, is like, if you don't have to be a Christian to study the Bible, because there's a lot of truth in it as well. Regardless of your faith, there's a lot of truth in it. And whether you want to accept Christ and go down that route, the truth is still there. So, and it's really neat to kind of look at this, because you would read those passages about what angels look like 100 years ago, and it'd make absolute nonsense to you. Oh yeah, so these things are going to come from the sky and talk to us. Well, here we are 100 years talking about potentially things coming from the sky to talk to us. Kind of makes you go, what else is in that
book? Well, it's easy to see. Just go back and look at paintings and things like that from Renaissance and on. I mean, you can find these. Yes, you can find these paintings that have been done in history. And if you look in the background of a lot of them, you will see disc-shaped objects in the sky in the background in a lot of these paintings.
There's a few of them in the Vatican.
Yeah, they've been pointed out several times. And it makes you stop and wonder, what the hell is that?
Yeah. There's actually a full painting in the Vatican that actually shows a ship in the sky.
Yeah.
I saw it with my own eyes.
But if all of this is connected, and I'm going to go off on a limb, and let's go down the rabbit hole of that it is. Let's go down the rabbit hole of the opinion that it is.
Okay.
What do you think it is with all of these scientists? Do you think that they are stepping out of line, saying too much, too quick, too fast?
Ooh, could be, or that they are trying to prevent it, and so the best way to prevent them from coming is to get them out of the way. Because you got to remember, one of the people that has gone missing, what was her name? Hold on, I got it. Amy Eskridge. Yeah. She was one that was actually working in a directed energy program, which would be a weapon that could absolutely put a halt to something coming into our atmosphere. So think about that. So somebody that would be developing the technology to actually stop an alien invasion has been offed.
That is an interesting point, because there is another trilogy that we have actually covered on the podcast in an old episode. I think we did it within our first season of the episode. And I don't know if you have seen it. It's called Sir No Face.
Yes.
That is strange to me, because in that they talk about, not sitting here saying this is happening, so I'm not fear mongering or anything like that, but I'm
not suicidal.
Yeah, right. I'm making a connection live on the air. In that, they say that there's going to be a joint effort of an alleged fake alien invasion. And the fact that somebody who was associated with a weapon of such magnitude has now disappeared. That's interesting to me. I have a hard time believing in coincidences. I'm sorry.
I want to tell you something so bad, but I don't know if I should say it.
Okay, that makes me a little nervous, Chad.
You should be, because it involves my dad. Let's just say my dad was an inventor. He was an engineer, and he was working on something. And I have his voicemail to this day. That was 2 days before he died. Mysteriously died, by the way. That he goes, because I went and got all the supplies for him to build a prototype, and he called my phone and said, "Holy shit, it works." And my dad was dead 48 hours later. Just going to say that. And my dad died under extremely mysterious conditions. Extremely mysterious conditions. What? You can go look up his death certificate and see it was ruled an accidental suicide. I don't buy it. I don't buy it in the least bit. I know my dad too well. I don't buy it. None of us bought it. None of us bought it.
I ain't gonna lie. I know we're talking about your dad passing, but my butthole puckered just a little bit on that.
Yeah. So, and that was in 2009. And he would literally, I still have that voice recording that said, see, Leslie just chimed in and he sent the paperwork in for a patent. So he proofed the concept and sent, and like I have the file stamped paperwork for the patent on it. And 48 hours after he mailed that patent paperwork off, he was dead.
I don't think you've ever actually told me the correlation of time between that.
Nope. 48 hours. He sent off the paperwork after proving proof of concept with what it could do. And it was a directed energy type weapon.
Wow.
Yep. So no one knows that. I was on the quiet side of that. So now it's out there. But my dad was working on something quite revolutionary. And he built a prototype that took him years to build. And he made that sucker work. And it did some fucking damage. Let's just put it that way. I've never seen a beam of light the size of a pencil burn through cinder block in 6 seconds. So it did it. And he filed his patent paperwork, and my father was dead in 48 hours. So
wow. First off, sorry to hear that of that correlation. You've never told me that time frame.
Yep. I've always kept that quiet because it's kind of one of those. And like Leslie said, when we saw the fires in Hawaii, there was some video of what looked like a flash of light come from the sky. And we both looked at that and went, that looked exactly like my father's fucking invention. Because that's how it would have worked. It could have easily done that. So just saying, there's weird shit out there, and there is technologies we don't know about. And there are technologies that seem like science fiction that are not. They are very much science fact. And so seeing all this starting to come together really has me like taking notes here. Like,
so let me ask your thoughts on this. I mean, now I'm going to speak for me and Chad. We have not delved through every article, every document over these missing scientists or something.
There's millions.
We are simply jumping on here to discuss about because we were supposed to have a guest and we don't have a guest tonight.
Speculation is fun, and that's what this is, right?
Yes, we're speculating here. So what do you think is getting close? What's your opinion that with all of this new documents, these new pictures, these missing scientists, what do you think is coming?
It's weird, man. Like, and this is going to definitely be like conspiracy theory overarch here, you know?
Okay, hold on. Let me get my tinfoil hat out.
Dude, no shit. Where's mine? Because I feel like I should be wearing it. So think about COVID, right? COVID was, in my opinion, this globally designed virus to reduce population. Problem is it didn't work like they thought it would. They were hoping for hundreds of millions of people to die, not just a couple million people to die. And so I don't think it was as effective as they had hoped it. The human body adapted way too fast to, fuck that flu thing. We're done with this shit. And so I think potentially this whole alien invasion could be something to stage a fake invasion to wage a interstellar war to basically drastically reduce the human population. It very well could be.
Wow.
Because that is a globalist agenda, is massive reduction in population.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to kind of go more along the lines of like, hey, meet Fred and George. They're your neighbors from Mars.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I want to be Captain Kirk. I'm just saying, like,
I thought maybe here in the next 6 months, I might be able to shake hands with an alien or something. I don't know. That's where my brain goes with this. But it is a little weird when you start adding in these more high profile people who hold certain different types of jobs and what they're researching and why they're researching. It does add a bit more, we're adding some levity to it. And I understand this is something that a lot of people, I laugh at funerals. Okay. So that's me. I try to add a lot of levity in, but it gets a little concerning when you see those professions, those types of people, and they're like, I'm not suicidal. And then they're disappearing. And you're trying to understand why there is such a release of all of these different photos that show different UFO craft and everything like that, that it seems like they're gearing up for some type of announcement for something. Well, and I will say that there is a part of me, Chad, that after watching that No Surface documentary series, that agrees with you in a way.
Yeah. Leslie actually just made a really great point. She says she thinks it actually worked exactly like they wanted, because the vaccinations are actually killing reproductive organs and making generations of people that can't have babies.
So it is in a way controlled population.
Controlled population, yeah. But you're right though. But I think if you look at it, what's the best way to change opinion, right? It's not just bomb drop everything and be like, ha, it's little dot, little dot, little dot. Slow acceptance.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's the leak to acceptance. And I think that's what this is they've been leaking enough, and they're going to let us chew on this for a little bit. And they're going to see how far it can go. And part of me thinks that's what the freaking Mandela effect is how much can we change that the population still accepts? And I think this might be a tie into that is, now let's give them some truth, but some fake. And let's see if they can spot the difference. No. Okay. So let's keep going with this. And we're going to just slowly drop things in. And now when we've accepted it as, oh yeah, aliens totally exist, there they are.
Yeah. Huh. Almost kind of like a little psyop, if you will.
Exactly. It's very much a psyop. When does the government not release information in a psyop format? I mean, it's always that way. Like, they'll never just be like, well, here's this ream of paper of shit we just printed for you, word for word, no black lines, everything's there. Like, government and transparency don't go to hand in hand. Like, I was a mayor for a little bit. I was a city council member for
I'm so sorry.
And we fought for transparency, and it's the hardest thing to get because of bullshit. And it's like, it's from the city level on. Transparency is a joke.
We all know that if you control the information, you control the narrative. I mean, that's the thing. That's the whole point of it. And that's the whole point of disclosure, of asking for disclosure, because there's too much information that's being withheld. Therefore, the full narrative is not being explained. The full narrative is not out there, because if you hoard the information, you can control the narrative and how slowly it leaks out and how quickly disclosure happens and how much disclosure happens.
Yeah, it wasn't even till college that I started to question history, because one of the things my college professor reminded me, he goes, remember, and I've heard it before, but you don't really put it together, that history is written by the victors.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the side of the story you don't know? What's the truths you don't know? Because that's not the history. That might be the outcome, but that's not the history.
That's not the history, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Because the victors get to put in and take out what they want to put in and take out.
Exactly.
Because they control the information.
Boom. So we're writing history as we speak right now. And I think one of the things that is in our advantage is there are too many avenues for record keeping, and everyone can record keep in real time. It's like running the cameras at the old park, right?
Yep.
If somebody says something happens, I have all these different ways to prove it or disprove it. And that's what we're kind of finally gotten into with the network of cameras around the world is, if somebody says, did you see that alien in Guatemala? Well, there are probably 30,000 people in Guatemala that had cell phones. There are probably cruise ships full of people that had cell phones. Like, we can neurally network and see this in real time and go, bullshit, or no, it was really there. And that's one of the things that I love about all the UFO sightings we're seeing now is, it's not just this one guy's camera view, right? It's this guy's camera view, and then a guy 6 miles that way and a guy 30 miles that way, all from different angles corroborating it, which means it's not faked because there was something in the sky. There's too many positions to go. That's it.
Well, and I think that what's happening now with it is AI is obviously getting in the way of people's understanding, belief along that lines of whether this is real or this is not. I look at AI videos and photos of UAPs and UFOs as like they tried to do from the UFO flaps of the 40s on to, all the way up until recently in the 80s, 90s, all that kind of stuff, where they're just like point at the victim and laugh, or the experiencer and laugh, and make fun of them and call them insane and call them stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's that equivalent. That's what AI is today. It's that equivalent. If we pump enough AI imagery of UFO and UAPs out there that look ridiculous, then they're going to start questioning every single thing that comes out. So, and I think that that's yet another attempt to be the MIB, to stamp it as quickly as they can and stamp out that wildfire.
It is, but I think it's backfiring on them. So MIB, if you're listening, here's the problem with that. You're creating
not the call out, Chad.
Yeah,
Shit.
Fuck it. Let them come talk to me. I'll show them how to do it better. Here's the problem with doing those kind of operations is because it's not good enough yet, one. And two, it's like all you're doing is creating skepticism, not disbelief. And there's a fucking difference.
That is very true. I will agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah. So I will be skeptical of what it is. But here's the thing, government. We're already skeptical of you. So you've got to come to us with, the proof of trust. We don't trust you anyway. So the ball's in your court. If you want us to believe what you're doing is real, it's time for some transparency and honesty, because if you can't do that, then you're always going to be looked at with distrust. And frankly, I don't ever see that going away. So
I don't either, because I don't think that there will ever be a full disclosure.
No, because what's in it for them? Yeah. And I don't think it has to do with mass hysteria. I think it has to do with, well, how do we profit from this? I mean, or what's the technology that one government versus another could get a hold of to have world power, right? Or dominance.
Well, right, because that's the thing, is that this isn't just a U.S. thing. This is a global thing. I mean, it's happening all over the world of things being seen and excuse me, I'm like trying to hiccup burp at the same time. Being seen and filmed in the sky, or these alleged aliens or stuff. It's all over the world. It's not just a U.S. thing. So who controls it at that point? Exactly. But what's gonna stop either, I don't know, U.S. or the UK, or I don't know. I'm just trying to think of different Spain. I'm just trying to think of different countries here, to not be the first one that's like, oh yeah, we'll shake hands on that.
Yeah. Well, I think what the world is going to have to do is they're going to have to wake up and realize the universe just got a lot damn bigger, because we are no longer alone. And I've always had this in the back of my head that our lives, and to me, this could still go either way, right? Either there is so much infinite life in the universe just because the massive statistical likelihood of that, or we are so unique that every living person should be valued to the maximum extent because of how absolutely astronomically rare we are. Life is that important. And we have to cut the bullshit out, because the odds of you even being born are like 1 in 400 trillion. So knock it off. And so that's my standpoint on life. Like, we are so phenomenally rare. I am open to alien life forms. Like, I have had some experiences as a kid that kind of made me question that from the get-go. I even told you guys my story about being held down in bed when I was like 14. So like weird stuff. And so I like I said, I would love to be Captain Kirk. Like, put me on the starship, let me go explore. Like, dream job, really, really dream job. I would just lose my shit if that was real. Like,
I've been watching a lot of Stargate SG-1, and like, I just send me through. Just send me through. I'll go through the gate. It's fine. I'll go explore a foreign world. But actually that leads into my next point, the comment that we just had. What do you think about the aliens in the ocean theory? I don't think that we have to go that far, because after seeing quite a few videos, especially like Tic Tac video, stuff like that, like, I don't know. I think that there is so much of the planet still that we have yet to discover. And the oceans is even less than land, like way less than the land that we've gone through. It's kind of like whenever we started seeing that rise in Bigfoot sightings. Well, we're destroying more forest, more, acreage of trees and stuff. So it's like pushing them out of their habitat. Just like in the ocean, we have only explored, was it 10%? Right?
Not even. I think it's 2.
Not even?
I think it's 2.
2? Shit,
2.
I thought it was like 10.
And we haven't even explored 1% of the deepest places.
Right. And so it's like, we don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
Do I think that there's a possibility of alien life on a aquatic level? Yeah. There's a possibility, but there's a possibility for everything, in my opinion.
Here's my take on the aliens in the water. I think if we found other life forms underwater, I don't think they're alien. I think they were here first. If you look at, if you want to be strict evolutionists, which I am not a strict evolutionist, I truly believe we were designed, because there's too many things that have to happen in the succession. There's not enough time for us to turn into this. So if you look at a strict evolutionist standpoint, where did all life start? The water. So why would it advance on land faster than in the water? So I think, if anything, there is intelligent beings in the water that just don't want to do with anything we're doing up here.
That's because the Anunnaki, dude. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. No, we just covered that not too long ago, which leads us back to aliens again. You know, so
yeah, I mean, but it's
I agree.
Legit. Like, if we had creatures living in our ocean that are intelligent and maybe are using things to fly through the waters and could possibly come up and then back in the waters, that could absolutely be a native species.
Right.
They just was like, turn the thing on. We don't want to do this.
I can agree with that. And saying that if there is a life form in the oceans or in the water or something like that, I believe it would be native. It would be pre us, in my opinion, as well. So I agree on that whole standpoint.
Yeah.
Of it as well.
Because how many worlds out there have salinated water like we do? Like,
yeah. Well, and I only use the word alien is because everybody knows the word
unknown.
Alien.
Yeah.
It's the unknown.
So so I wouldn't consider them extraterrestrial. Let's put it that way.
Right. No.
They would very much be a terrestrial civilization, just living out of sight under depths that we can't go to. Or, since water can easily bend light, cloaking underwater would be absolutely easy to do.
But I find it interesting going back to these scientists, because we've been talking about disclosure, aliens, and all of that stuff. Going back to them. Wow, train just derailed. Not a survivor. Not a survivor left on that train. I was going somewhere with it. I promise I was. Shoot, maybe he'll come back, but that's okay. Oh, hold on. We've got
a spammer.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to. We're gonna just go ahead and
bye
out of here. Sorry, y'all, for the spams. That's what distracted me. That's what caused the train of thought to go bye bye.
I saw it.
We had a spammer in the comments.
The little people in your headphones going, there's spot everywhere.
Yes, but anyways, we're getting it taken care of. We know we don't like y'all being spammed in the comments. So it's been a while since we've had a nice spammer. See, the first time we're talking about these missing scientists and stuff, we haven't had a spammer in years. We haven't had a spammer in years, and we have a spammer tonight. So
nice.
Pretty interesting stuff. But no, if you haven't been looking at, that's what I was going to say. These 11 scientists, what I'm realizing right now, going through feeds on, let's say, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, there is not a lot of movement around these disappearances. It's very hush hush. The only ones that I really see pushing this out is the paranormal community.
Yep.
That tends to be the vast majority of people, because being in the paranormal, the podcast, and all the investigations we do, you and I both, we have a lot of paranormal friends across the country, across the globe even. And we are seeing, I'm seeing just paranormal people. I have yet to see it break anywhere in a major, on TV or, hey, live update, connection type stuff. I find all of that stuff interesting as well.
Right.
Because you can tell
just
exactly
as the coverage. So
that gives so much credibility to me. The lack of coverage is very telling, in my opinion.
Yeah, because if it was me, I'd be like, no, let's talk about it, because we had nothing to do with it. So here, let's just get that out in the open. We had nothing to do with it. This is what happened. Or come out and flat out say, we think it was part of espionage because this person was walking on a top secret thing. We think they were assassinated. Just fucking say that. I don't quit being PC for all these dickheaded countries around the world. Just say, no, they were assassinated and we should probably do something about it. Because I'm going to be like, well, I got a closet full of pew-pews. Let's go fight. Like, I mean, like, rally the troops. Like, screw that crap. Like, let's do this. But no, like, just be honest about this crap and tell us, because it kind of comes back down to the saying from Men in Black, right? A person is smart, people are stupid. So on an individual level, we'll be like, yeah, but when you have 1,000 other people in a small room screaming and running for an exit, you realize there's one behind you. No one goes for that one. And that's how crazy stuff happens. I mean, pure panic. And that's, and I can see that some people would panic because they're just, you got to remember there's the other half of the bell curve that don't fall at the 100 IQ line.
No, it is definitely something worth looking into. If you have not looked into it at all, definitely just a simple Google search. I just typed in "missing scientists with UFOs."
And
it pulled it right up. The 10 to 11. I think we're up to 11 now. This says 10 on the Google search, but I believe we're up to 11 now, and it has a lot of information on it. So if you're not caught up on it, there's something wonky happening there.
It's weird. I mean,
it's definitely something worth checking into and checking out.
Let's see, chat. What's the if any of you have been watching this stuff, what's the craziest piece of evidence you've seen of the UFO stuff so far? Because, like, for me, some of it has been the pictures over land where they're showing what almost looks like Iron Man. Like there was it looked like a guy flying. And so I don't know if anybody out there watching has seen that. So, like, if you've seen any of those, blow it up in the comments. Like, let's talk about that. But what's the weirdest thing you guys have seen? Because there's so much information. I think it's up to like 4 million pages now or something.
Something like that.
And then part of me is like, is the sheer volume also a tactic? Like, just dump a whole bunch of crap and good luck finding the actual truth, because it's in there. You're just never going to find it. Or you'll be 90 by the time you do.
No, but that's the funny part is that they're starting to learn that tactic is no longer working, because we have people who are willing to sit there, number one, and feed it to a machine and say, okay, find me everything within these 4 million documents that have to do with UFOs, UAPs, aliens, extraterrestrials, and it can populate something real quick and say, here's your key points from these 4 million documents. Yes, it may take some time to go through all 4 million, but I mean, the way how fast machines can read through the text through machine learning, stuff like that. I mean, it's insane. So they're learning that tactic doesn't work.
I may or may not have a machine learning system in my home. I may or may not have AI induced data analytics processing. No one will ever know.
They're going to now, because you came on Everything Vaguely Paranormal and talked about it.
I do. My computer is set up for AI stuff and machine learning. I do it all day. I'm a data scientist. Yeah. It's what I do for a freaking living. So
I think my biggest thing, the takeaway of all of this, I know we kind of delved into it without having as much facts as we usually do on our episodes. This was more, yes, fly by the seat of our pants, because unfortunately we didn't have our guest tonight. But if I had to have a takeaway from this with these 11 scientists, it's going to be the fact that I think people need to pay attention with what's released in the upcoming days, weeks, months, or years. I would say probably months. I don't think it's going to take years. There's a lot of movement right now around things being released. It's almost like every single day I'm seeing a new video, a new image, a new something, a new document. Yep. I think I think they're trying to move towards something big to be released.
Yep.
And in my opinion, I think it's as a distraction. That's going to be my opinion, because there's so many people, the voice for disclosure has gotten so loud lately that it's almost like we've got to do something because we're falling behind. And if we don't just say, okay, fine, here's a bone, we're going to get even more far behind, and people are going to be basically at our throats about it.
Yeah.
So I do think that something is about to be released. I do think it's going to be big. And it's going to be, unfortunately, it's going to be up to the individual people or person to determine the legitimacy behind it. Legitimacy. I don't know. Validity. That's the word I was going for. The validity behind it. I was like, what fucking word was I trying to say? The legitimacy behind it. So that's kind of my hot take on these scientists in this disclosure. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat, that, and just kind of putting it out there for everybody as stuff's being released, take it with a grain of salt. Recognize timing could be an issue, that there could be misdirection in the data that's being released. Absolutely. I believe there's going to be misdirection in the data released, half truths, quarter truths, and do yourself a favor, be skeptical of when things are being released and do some research. Like, just don't go, oh, did you see this, and share it. Like, take 2 seconds and go, is this AI? Is this fake? Is it Photoshopped? Like, was this a legit release, or is this just somebody looking for clickbait? But I'm with you, Blake. I think this is leading up to something bigger. And my gut says the world has already been told we're on our way. And there is an end date that's going to happen, that there is a date that is coming. I don't know how far in the future that is. I don't know what kind of technology they have to be getting here, but I think there is a date where the arrival will happen. And it's going to be Independence Day styled arrival, like massive ships.
You think it's going to be that big?
I think it is. I think that's why the government is finally going, we have to start saying something. Otherwise, when they get here, we will not even have control of anything. We will be useless. And so the only thing a government would do to protect their own ass and to protect themselves from being utterly useless is to start building some form of credibility and dependence on that data. Because just think, if right now you had 100 ships worldwide show up and you can look out and look at them through our sky and look at the thing hovering out there like a freaking Death Star, governments no longer matter. The people will not recognize the power and authority of a government. It's over. So I think the only way a government can keep power is to start releasing this, knowing there's already a clock ticking at the end of this game, that they have to establish we still need to have power or else. And I think that's what's leading up to it, is they're trying to establish expertise and reliance and the reason that you need them for this coming up thing, because when they get here, they want to keep power. Just saying.
No, that's a really good take. That's something that I hadn't really thought about in that depth. I always saw it as kind of just trying to catch back up.
Yeah.
But you're putting the reason behind why the government's trying to catch back up. So
they've been able to sweep it for so long.
Yeah.
Because there was never anything definitive. Well, they're never coming to show themselves in a big way, but I think maybe they finally received something that said, oh shit, they're coming. We have to do something now. So, but something to think about. So I hope everybody thinks about it. And I guess I'll take Shelly's line with that. Hey, Blake, tell them everything you need to know.
I appreciate you, Chad. Hey, sounds good. We know it was short and sweet tonight. We do have a few announcements before we wrap this up. If you want to support the show directly, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/EVP podcast. For just $5 a month, you'll unlock over 450, I think it's over 500 now, Patreon exclusive videos, including the pre and post broadcasts, which are the 30 minutes before and the 30 minutes after this live broadcast. So you do get an additional hour with us each week. Your support from this goes directly back to the show and towards the adventures that we bring you week after week. And if you are not sure about joining Patreon, try it risk-free with our 7-day free trial. Also on our Patreon, there is a link for the Old Park Hotel's Patreon, as well as one of our recommended sites. We do love investigating the Old Park Hotel. Chad Wandell, Leslie Wandell, the owners. We love y'all so much on that, and allowing us to come in and help and everything. But they do have 24/7 feeds going all day, every day. You can go in and watch Ghost TV, as we call it. And y'all's just $5 a month too?
We have 3 levels. $5 gets you all the cameras. The other ones, if you're a common visitor, it's worth it to upgrade because you get 5 and 10% off bookings and merch. And so you come twice, you've paid for your subscription. So
I love it. Well, make sure you stay connected with us. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and many more by searching Everything Vaguely Paranormal and looking for the green sound wave. And remember, you can catch us live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. And also make sure you subscribe to our Eventbrite page to be notified when public investigation tickets go on sale. We do currently still have 3 Old Park Hotel investigations, 2 nights on each one of those. And we also have, I think, 4 different Broadhead Manor and Broadhead, Wisconsin investigations that are up right now for the last weekend in September. So To make this easier, we're going to add all of these to our all these links to our link tree, which will be on the Everything Vaguely Paranormal Facebook and X profiles Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as well as in all the show notes for you audio listeners. We are grateful for your continued support. Every like, comment, share, and download keeps the adventures alive. So if you have a favorite episode, share it with your friends. Also, the best thing you can do to help out our show in its rankings, wherever you get your audio, if you'll head over there and download our catalog of episodes and leave us a review. And also, if you have a story, comment, or question, you'd like to be a guest on the show or have us as guests on your show, email us at theevppod@gmail.com. That is THEEVPPOD@gmail.com. So, I have to say Shelly's line too. Make sure you go like, share, and subscribe on that YouTube channel. Man, I forget how much support she gives in my closing little sign off. But we want to
miss you, Shelly.
Yeah, we do miss you, Shelly. Again, congrats on the new grandbaby. And we will have you back next week, absolutely, for sure. But we want to thank y'all for joining us for another weekly episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. As always, for myself, I am Blake Smith, and for tonight, my partner in the paranormal, Mr. Chad Wandell. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye, y'all.